no one can really be prepared for the fact that love can turn into obsession. And when the obsession infiltrates without permission into the private life of a person who just wants to breathe for a moment as an ordinary human being, then what happens is no longer just admiration, but terror. This is what Jungkook, the youngest member of the legendary group BTS, whose name has always been associated with boundless charm, talent, and dedication, is now said to be experiencing. But who would have thought that behind all the glitter of the stage and the smiles that he gave to the world, there was a silent scream that was restrained inside his own house, a house that is now surrounded by a multi-layered security system. And not because of a mere external threat, but because of the actions of the fans themselves. Has the army changed? Is the line between love and madness blurring? The questions echoed more and more intensely, especially after the shocking news spread in the Korean media and the international fandom community that the security system at Jungkook's private residence was again massively upgraded in just over 2 weeks after the last update. An internal source from the agency, who requested that his name be disguised for the safety and convenience of all parties, revealed something that shook the logic of the public. This is not the first time, and it does not seem to be the last. What left the public and media wide open was not just the heightened security, but the reasons behind it: threatening letters, unidentified drones hovering over Jungkook's rooftop in the middle of the night, even reports of a female fan posing as a food courier to get closer to the main gate of the luxury villa where Jungkook lives. This is not fiction. This is not the plot of the drama. This is a creepy reality. What is really going on behind the high walls of Jungkook's house? Why did the fans who claim to love her become the source of her greatest fear? Is the tightened security system just a technical effort, or a sign that Jungkook himself no longer feels safe in his own country? Jungkook, a man known for his warm smile, for his perseverance that goes beyond the limits of reason in dancing and singing, is now rumored to live in a silent paranoia that continues to lurk every corner of his house. An anonymous source from one of the private security agencies specially contracted by HYB revealed that in the past 2 months, the number of surveillance cameras in Jungkook's home area has tripled. Motion sensors are installed in every tree and bush, and the facial recognition system has been integrated with artificial intelligence to be able to detect the faces recorded many times around the perimeter of the house. Who are those faces? Who keeps coming, snooping, photographing, even sending strange things to the idol's personal home mailbox? What worries most is not just their existence, but their intentions. In an internal report leaked to one of South Korea's online forums and taken down hours later by reason of an official request from the authorities, there was a shocking description of a person claiming to be Jungkook's spiritual legal wife, and sending a bloody letter swearing curses to anyone who tried to approach the idol. Many initially thought it was just an internet joke, something that has become common to emerge from large fandoms. But when someone actually tried to sneak past his fence at 3:21 in the morning and was detected carrying a penknife, everyone stopped laughing. The incident not only changed the security system, but changed the whole way Jungkook lived his days. He, who used to be seen leaving early in the morning to jog around the neighborhood, is now even said to never be seen leaving the house without a minimum of 2 personal bodyguards who change shifts every 8 hours. This concern deepened when a Japanese reporter close to one of HYB's former staffers leaked that Jungkook had experienced a sudden panic attack at night, only to hear the sound of someone trying to forcefully open his automatic fence. He's not angry. He's not hysterical. But shut up. That was the scariest thing, said the staffer, who recalled the night in a low voice. He just sat, staring at the wall, holding a cup of tea that had been cold for an hour, and did not speak a word until the morning. Then who is responsible? Is this just one of 2 extreme Saysian coincidences? Or do we have to be honest and ask further? Has part of the army changed its form from protectors to hunters? This question is very sensitive, even for Korean media who are usually careful in writing about BTS's fandom. However, more and more events are leading to a similar pattern. Silent terror. The camera is hidden in the package. Jungkook personal car GPS location monitoring. And most recently, the discovery of a small tracker, GPS tracker, that was tucked into one of Jungkook's shoes when he was about to go to the gym. HYB, as always, issued a standard statement. We are investigating the incident and improving our artists' security systems for their convenience and safety. But the public is not satisfied. The army itself was divided. Some strongly condemned the extreme measures, calling for the Saseing to no longer be called part of the army. But others defended, with the absurd argument that Jungkook belongs to everyone, and that their actions were a form of too deep loving concern. Behind the scenes, many believe that Jungkook has several times requested that his home be moved to a new location. But due to various contractual reasons and unreasonable costs, it was always postponed. Then the only option is to thicken the walls, increase the cameras, expand the safe zone, and in the end, narrow down his own personal space. But this issue is not just about houses and fences. It's about trauma, about a person's inability to feel comfortable in the space that should be the safest for himself. Jungkook now lives his days in a painful bubble system. He may appear freely on screen, on stage, in video content, but when the screen went out, when the light dimmed, when the cheers ended, he again became a figure who had to suspect every footstep outside his fence, every drone that flew silently, even every food delivery that came with a slightly too curious look on his face. Not a few asked, why didn't HYBE act harder? Why aren't the perpetrators arrested? But the law in South Korea still has a fairly wide gap when it comes to Saseing affairs. If it is not caught by the hand, if it does not carry a weapon, if it does not commit physical violence, then all that is only considered interference. And that distraction is not enough to get someone seriously charged. Does this mean that a big star like Jungkook must continue to live under surveillance, without really having the power to say enough? If so, then we have all failed, not as fans, but as human beings who profess to respect the limits and rights to life of others. What's even more heartbreaking is how Jungkook himself handled all of this. In one of his live streams some time ago, he had said in a slightly joking tone but implying deep emotional exhaustion, "I love you all, but sometimes I just want to sleep 10 hours without waking up because there is a notification that someone is trying to cross my yard." The comments, while not splashy in Korean media, became a hot topic of discussion on Twitter internationally. Many soldiers cried, felt guilty, apologized. But an apology doesn't erase the trauma. And Jungkook cannot constantly live off public sympathy. He needs space. He needs a sense of security. He needs to get back to being a normal human being when he's not performing as a megastar, when love turns to terror, when admiration turns to obsession, and when a fan's name is used to infiltrate a person's personal life. Then all the foundations of the relationship between idol and fan will be destroyed. And that's when it's worth asking, do we love them because they're human, or because we want to own them as personal property?